Hello friends, welcome back. We're going to talk about second part of Waiting for a Visa, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's autobiography. Part 2 of Waiting for a Visa is about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's stay in Baroda. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was sent to America for higher education by Maharaja of Baroda. He stayed in New York from 1913 to 1917 and went to London and stayed there till 1918. He returned to India in 1919 and went to Baroda as he was supposed to serve the state. He speaks about his social experiences in this part of his autobiography. As Dr. Ambedkar had stayed in Western countries, he had forgotten that he was an untouchable. But when he came out of the station in Baroda, he was worried about the place to stay. There were Hindu hotels, but they would not allow an untouchable to stay in. He did not want to disguise as an upper caste because he was aware of the consequences if he does so. He had his friends who were with him for studies in America, but he was not sure they would admit him in their houses. One of the hackney drivers told him that there was a Parsi inn and they took paying guests. Dr. Ambedkar thought that there would be no problem because Parsis do not recognize untouchability. He got into the carriage and went to the Parsi inn. The caretaker of the inn was also a Parsi. He asked Dr. Ambedkar about his religion when he found him in different clothes than the Parsi people wear while undressing. Dr. Ambedkar told him that he was a Hindu. The inn was meant for the Parsi people only. Dr. Ambedkar tells him that he had no problem in staying there even though he was a Hindu. The caretaker had to maintain the register of the guests, therefore, it would be difficult for him to allow him to stay there. Dr. Ambedkar told him that he would assume a Parsi name and no one would know that he was a Hindu. The plan worked. It was a very untidy room full of worn out tools and old furniture. Moreover, there was no light in it. The caretaker of the room went to him only for giving his breakfast and dinner, and he did not speak to him. Dr. Ambedkar was appointed as a probationary accountant general's officer by Maharaja of Baroda. He went to office at 10 o'clock and came back to inn at 8 p.m. He used to spend as much time as possible outside the inn. The idea of returning to inn was terrifying for him, but he had no choice because there was no other place to live. He used to read books, but the sound of chirping birds and flying birds often disturbed him. His condition was very bad. When his sister's son came to him with his remaining luggage, he started crying. So he was sent back to Bombay immediately. As he knew that he would not be able to stay at the inn for a long time disguised under a Parsi name, he was also trying to get the state bungalow. However, he could not get it. On 11th day of his stay in Baroda, Dr. Ambedkar heard a few steps when he was getting ready to go to office. A dozen Parsis came in his room and started asking him several questions. He was terrified to see them. He thought that they would launch an attack on him. They hurled abuses and ordered him to get out of the inn before evening. He was confused. He didn't know what to do. He sat and cried for a long time. After the Parsi people went away, he thought about some other way but could not find it. He talked to two of his friends, but they do not show any interest in him. In fact, they were not ready to accept him in their house. He was left with no option but to return to Bombay. He spent some time in the public garden and then took a carriage to inn. He wanted to serve Maharaja of Baroda because it was the time to repay, but he had no alternative but to leave the place as there was no shelter for him there. Finally, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar says, "This scene of dozen of Parsis armed with sticks lined before me in a menacing mood and myself standing before them with a terrified look imploring for mercy is a scene which so long as a period as 18 years has not succeeded in fading away. I can even now vividly recall it and never recall it without tears in my eyes. It was then for the first time I learnt that a person who is untouchable to a Hindu is also an untouchable to a Parsi." Thus, the second part of Waiting for a Visa is a heart-rending description of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's experiences with untouchability. In the first part, he speaks about his experiences with untouchability in general and with upper caste Hindus in particular. In the second part, he speaks about his experience with untouchability with the Parsis. The untouchability, according to him, is a curse for Indian society and especially for the untouchable people. I hope this was a useful video for you. If you have understood it, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new to it. Thank you very much for watching.